All right, so today we're going to dive deep into the real strategy behind SpaceX's massive planned IPO. And let me tell you, it is so much more than just raising a bunch of cash. This is the financial launchpad for a full-blown interplanetary economy. And you'll see how all the pieces, they connect in a way you probably don't expect. So let's get right into it.
Okay, just let that sink in for a second. $100 trillion. I mean, that is just a mind-boggling number. That's more than the entire GDP of the entire planet right now. So you gotta ask, is this just crazy talk? Is it pure hyperbole? Well, you might be surprised. The strategy we're about to break down, it suggests this might be way more grounded in reality than you'd think. So first things first, how in the world do you actually fund a vision this big, a multi-planetary civilization? Well, it all starts with the money. And that brings us to the planned 2026 IPO for SpaceX. And you have to understand, this isn't just your typical IPO. No. This is the rocket fuel for the entire grand plan. And the numbers, they're just astronomical. Yeah, look at that number. The target valuation they're shooting for is up to $1.5 trillion. It's just staggering. And you might be wondering, where does a number like that even come from? Well, it's really being driven by two things that are already massive successes. You've got the insane explosive growth of Starlink, their global internet service, and of course, the incredible leaps they're making with the Starship rocket system.
Which brings up a really good question, right? Why go public now? I mean, SpaceX has been a private company for ages. They don't really need to do this. But the goal here isn't just about going public for the sake of it. The plan is to raise somewhere around $30 billion in new cash. And what they're going to do with that money? Well, that's where this whole story gets really interesting.
So, that first $30 billion, it's already got a job to do. It's basically tagged for three enormous, super expensive projects. First up, they're going to pour money into Starship development to scale it up and get to an absolutely insane flight rate. Then, number two, and you guys, this one is a total game changer. They're going to build AI data centers in orbit. And third, they'll be expanding all the other space infrastructure they need for, everything from Starlink to future missions to Mars. Okay, let's zero in on that second point for a minute, because this idea has been called both completely insane and an act of pure genius. The core concept? To literally move a huge chunk of our planet's AI computing power off-planet, into space. And when you think about it, the logic is actually pretty brilliant. Here on Earth, data centers are just absolute energy hogs. They suck up massive amounts of power, and they need super expensive water or air cooling systems just to keep from melting down. But in space, you get free 24/7 solar power. And what's the coolant? The vacuum of space itself. It's perfect, and it's free. A move like this frees up so much land and water back here on Earth, and just completely turns the economics of computing on its head. And here's the kicker. Who else can do this? The answer is pretty much nobody. Right now, only SpaceX has the key ingredient, a fully reusable Starship. That's the only thing that makes launching thousands of these data centers affordable. It creates what investors call a competitive moat, a huge advantage that's almost impossible for rivals to overcome. And in this case, it's literally out of this world. Okay, so once you have these data centers up and running in orbit, the plan just gets bigger. It escalates. We're not just talking about near-Earth orbit anymore. Now we're talking about building real, permanent infrastructure on other worlds. And yeah, this is the part of the plan where sci-fi starts to sound a whole lot like a corporate business plan. The first huge target is a giant base on the moon. But we need to be clear. This is not about planting a flag and taking some pictures. Nope. We are talking about a fully automated industrial city, a hub with factories that build AI satellites, which can then be launched even deeper into space. And the craziest part, it's all designed to be built and operated mostly by robots before a lot of humans even get there. So how does this actually happen? Well, there's a 4-step blueprint. Step 1 is simple. Launch starships packed with Optimus robots. Step 2, those robots get to work. They build the base, they set up the solar panels, they construct the infrastructure. Step 3, you send up all the other gear, the rovers, the life support systems, you name it. And only then, once everything is ready, comes step 4. Humans arrive at a fully prepared, move-in-ready habitat. The robots are basically the advanced team for humanity. Okay, so at this point, you're probably asking, wait a minute, where do all these robots and trucks and power systems come from? And that question? That leads us to the real secret sauce of this entire master plan. It's the incredible, deep connection between all of Elon Musk's different companies. Really, you shouldn't think of them as separate companies at all. It's more like one giant integrated engine designed for one purpose, building a multi-planetary civilization. Every single piece has a critical role to play. SpaceX is the transport system. Tesla provides the robots and the energy. The Boring Company gives you the tools to build underground habitats. And Starlink? That's the communication network that ties it all together.
I mean, this is a total masterclass in what's called vertical integration. Look at the details. SpaceX handles the ride to space. But then Tesla comes in with not just the Optimus robots, but also Cybertrucks for moving stuff around, solar panels for power, even HVAC systems for life support. And get this, the Boring Company's tunneling machines are literally designed to fit perfectly inside a Starship. And of course, Starlink becomes the internet for the entire solar system. When you lay it all out like this, it's hard not to feel like this was the plan from the very beginning.
So, okay, the plan is absolutely audacious, it's brilliantly integrated, but how are people reacting to it? This brings us to our final piece of the puzzle, and it might be the most important one. It's all about the massive gap between what's actually happening and what most people think is possible. This quote really hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? Most people don't believe things are real until it's right in their face. For so many years, all these ideas we're talking about were just dismissed as, crazy Elon stuff. But slowly, piece by piece, they're becoming real, tangible things you can see. And that is forcing everyone to seriously rethink what's possible. I mean, just think about it for a second. Go back a decade. The idea of a giant rocket flying to space and then landing itself standing up, pure science fiction. Now, it's routine. It's boring. A few years ago, a car that drives itself seems like it was decades away. Now, they're on the streets. When you look at that progression, the idea of 1 million robots building a city on the moon, it doesn't sound so crazy anymore, does it? It almost feels like the next logical step. And you can really feel that a turning point is happening, like right now. You see it in the news, you see it online. Even people who were the biggest critics are starting to step back and just acknowledge the incredible scale of what's being accomplished. It feels like the world is slowly waking up and realizing, whoa, this isn't just talk anymore. This is really happening. So, here's the bottom line. When you connect all the dots, from the IPO to the data centers in space to the lunar base, and how all these companies fit together, you realize you're not just looking at a business plan. You're looking at a blueprint for humanity to actually become a multi-planetary species. And that's a profoundly big deal. It really makes you wonder, are we witnessing the very moment our future finally expands beyond Earth? The moment we really start acting like Team Humanity and looking out to the stars?